What if I told you something like a fairy tale would do? Like once upon a time. Well, instead of a once upon a time, you get that Florida has a competition now ahead of them. Now, I'm sure all over the country there are weird, really weird people, but this county never really saw something like this before, at least out on the news this big. By the man of Zachary Simmons. Uh, a meth head, I guess the quickest way to say it. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of the story, and then I'll play a video about it. Neighbor, right in front of him, like right across the street, had heard an explosion, and then they called 911 saying, "Hey, there's an explosion going on, and I see a woman with burns all over her." And the authorities get there, and they find out that, well, they don't really find out what the explosion was, but they found out that someone calls it, it was like a hose tube, dirt, hand sanitizer, and then a chemical container. But while they were searching, they ended up finding meth and then some marijuana. But during the search, they find that, and then there's also a child in the whole situation, and they had child services come in and they extracted the child from the family. The woman is now in a hospital, hopefully getting treated and is doing good. Later that day, Simon was taken into custody into Vanderburgh County, and now he is being sentenced. I don't really know how long they sentence him. They don't really say, but I'll play a quick video about it.
We do have some new information on yesterday's explosion at a Vanderburgh County home.
Jordan Yaney spoke with the sheriff. So, Jordan, what do we know now about what happened?
Well, Rob, Jamie, we know an arrest has been made in this case, and a child has actually been taken from that home as well. Officials say Zachary Simmons was questioned last night, then arrested in a situation the sheriff is calling very odd. New images are shedding some light on.
Here's some of the images. You can see the chemical container over here, some gloves, and really just does look like a meth head backyard, especially with this rotted piece of container with like dirt all over it and just some other stuff.
On an explosion in a Vanderburgh County backyard, but also raising more questions. The sheriff's office shared these pictures of what they're calling a tote filled with dirt, a chemical container, and attached to a hose.
I would just describe the whole scenario as rather odd. And so we're still trying to work out what the thought process would have been for this to have occurred. But the end result was some pretty severe injuries.
911.
911 calls reveal deputies found out about the blast from a woman standing across the street.
And there was a loud explosion, and there's a lady running around in the backyard screaming. I seen the front of her, and I think she's burnt all down the front of her.
Officials say that woman was flown to the hospital with severe chemical burns. The sheriff says although it's unclear exactly what happened and why, it appears large amounts of hand sanitizer contributed to the blast.
When you have an explosion like that, and it occurs at a home and the residents don't call 911, that's kind of suspicious.
Robin,
I just imagine the authorities showing up at the door, be like, "Hey, neighbors call an explosion in the backyard. Is everything okay?" And he's like, "What? An explosion? What is this, Florida? I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy. Get out here."
Robinson says a search of the home uncovered meth, marijuana, and unsafe conditions for a child. That led to the arrest of Zachary Simmons and a call to child services to remove the kid. And while meth was found at the scene, Sheriff Robinson says there's no evidence of a meth lab or direct evidence showing meth played a role in the explosion.
Methamphetamine is quite a drug, and it does induce some rather bizarre behavior in people. Given the fact we found the substance on site, it's kind of hard to rule out that that might have been a factor in this rather odd series of events.
Simmons is charged with possession of meth, marijuana, and neglect of a dependent. As of now, no update on the woman who was burned in that explosion, guys.
So, throughout this whole thing, I will be trying to update what happens on the woman and the child and Zachary Simmons, this liced, moss-headed dumbass. But throughout this whole thing. I'm sure I'll be updating this as soon as I can, hopefully sooner, because I am really like sketchy about this whole thing. I really do hope find out what the explosion was and not like any chemicals that were in the air or something like that. I don't know. But other than all that, that's pretty much about it. See you later. Now, I do want to make a quick thing that please do not do meth or drugs, or you'll end up like this man who hasn't showered in probably like 2 years straight and like has moss grown in his beard. So then, alright, that's about it. See you later.